So for our last social institution na pag-uusapan ngayon, economy and work, no? Pagsamahin natin sila. Economic institutions. So the economy is, ito pala yung tamang definition, no? Nahirapan ako kanina eh. How the human and natural resources are developed and utilized in production, processing, distribution, and consumption of material goods and services. Ibig sabihin, no? Economy or the economic institutions emphasizes on how they utilize those finite resources para how do you call this, maibigay, masatisfy yung mga wants and needs ng mga tao. Economics in definition, yun yung original conception ng economics. Nowadays, when we talk about the economy, it's about how human and natural resources, finite it is, are developed and utilized for the production, processing, distribution, and consumption of material goods and services. So, the main components of the economy, okay, so ito yung function niya. Again, as a social institution, ito na yung function ng economy, ito na yung purpose ng economy, ito na yung silbi ng ekonomiya, para i-utilize yung mga resources, both human and natural resources, para mabigyan or ma-provide yung mga needs ng mga tao. So, it has three components, no? The primary sector, part of the economy that draws raw materials from the natural environment, which includes agricultural, raising animals, fishing, forestry, and mining. The secondary sector naman is part of the economy that transforms raw materials into manufactured goods, which includes refining petroleum into gasoline and turning metals into tools and automobiles. Ito yung manufacturing sector that we're familiar with. Kasi napakadami nito sa Laguna. I hope familiar kayo, no? It must be noted that globalization of industry played a key role in driving a significant share of countries' workers into secondary sector. Primarily the Industrial Revolution, no, sabihin natin in historical sense, sa Europe talaga ito mas nag-focus. Industrial Revolution in the late 1900s, siya yung nagbigay ng pagkakataon para magkaroon ng panibagong sektoral lipunan from the primary sector, which is meant to produce raw materials. Nagkaroon ng secondary sector na nagmamanufacture, nag-redevelop, they reconstruct those materials to create variations, no, of goods na gagamitin ng mga tao for their modern lifestyles. And again, globalization, no, yung pagiging globally interconnected ng mga bansa provided a means para mas mapalawak yung mga industriya. Nagkaroon ng mga multinational corporations, transnational corporations. Wherein, halimbawa, Coca-Cola sa US, may Coca-Cola sa Mexico, Coca-Cola sa Philippines, and any other countries. All are part of a secondary sector. And we have tertiary sector, which is a very much an important or integral part of the Philippine economy. Sila yung part of the economy that involves services rather than goods. They do not manufacture goods, but they provide services. Pilipinas, no, is one of the top business process outsourcing, no, destinations. Hindi ko lang sure ngayon 2020, but for the past 5 to 7 years para mas safe. And according to World Bank, tertiary sector grows with industrialization, accounting for 50% of economic output in low-income countries. So 50% daw ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa, lalo sa mga low-income countries, developing nations, more than kalahati, ay nakaangkla sa tinatawag natin ng mga service sectors. Kaya madaming mga BPO dito. Common term is the call centers. Why? Because their main job is to provide services, to answer to the queries of the customers, to provide troubleshooting, tapos naglalagay ng subtitles sa mga pinapanood nyo, o nagtatranslate. Yung mga ganun, outsource. Those are services. They provide services. Siguro, nagtuturo ng English, outsourced English teachers, online English teachers. Those are part of the service sector. Sila yung tertiary sector na bahagi ng ekonomiya. Sa Pilipinas, 50 to 55% ng ating ekonomiya ay nakabatay sa service sector, no? Part din ng service sector yung mga tawag dito, fast food, cruise, yan ganyan. Yung mga baristas, yan ganyan. Yung mga nag-offer ng services, that's part of the tertiary sector. So, when it comes to the economy, importanteng malaman din natin yung two major economic systems na meron sa mundo ngayon. First is the capitalism. As an economic system, it is an economic system in which natural resources and the means of producing goods and services are privately owned. Since after the Industrial Revolution, capitalism has been the predominant economic system na sa buong mundo, okay? Wherein majority of the goods are privately owned, okay? So meron siyang three distinctive features: private ownership of property, wherein individuals can own almost anything. Well, not almost, no? Kasi ang idea ng capitalism is lahat ng bagay, resources sa mundo is free for all. If you can buy it, you can own it privately. However, syempre may government interventions na meron sa bawat bansa. Kaya hindi nila pwedeng kamkamin lahat. No, kahit sobrang yaman ng Amazon or ng Apple, hindi, may mga certain restrictions sa mga pwede nilang paggastusan, paggamitan ng kanilang pera. But the thing is, when it comes to capitalism, private ownership of property wherein individuals can own almost anything, pursuit of personal profit to create profit and wealth. Capitalism, ang purpose niya is to money, profit making. Yun yung purpose ng capitalism. It's to kumita ka ng kumita. Syempre, hindi ka magbi-business na palugi eh. Nagbi-business ka para kumita ka. Ayun yung gustong gawin ng capitalism. After the mercantilism, wherein iilan lamang ng mga tao ang nakikinabang, capitalism provided a venue for middle income ng mga tao na mapayaman ang kanilang mga sarili. And another is competition and consumer choice, wherein laissez-faire or free for all na economy. However, again, may government restrictions when it comes to capitalism sa panahon ngayon. But the thing is, gusto ko iparating ng capitalism is let the market do its job, let the economy do its job. Hindi kailangan ng economy yung intervention ng other institutions, primarily the government. However, what's sad about this is that when it comes to capitalism kasi, again, and no more it was not intended to be like that, but it created or widened the income inequality, the gap within the rich and the poor. Because most of the capitalists, syempre hindi naman lahat talaga ay nagsimula sa wala. May mga taong nagsimula na meron silang ilang lupa na pwede nilang ibenta, while others started with nothing from scratch. That's why, at ang nakakalungkot na katotohanan ngayon is more than 1% lamang ng total population ng buong mundo yung nakikinabang sa majority ng resources na meron tayo. Corporate America, diba? Because there's too much capitalism that they tend to forget that hindi lahat ng bagay na meron sa mundong to ay para sa kanila lamang. But the reality is, we let them, or our forefathers let them be like that. But again, social, in terms of a social institution, tayo maging political dito. It's an economic system which focuses on private ownership of goods, natural resources to produce goods for the purpose of profit making. Then we have socialism, its counterpart. As an economic system, natural resources and means of producing goods are collectively owned. Or in most socialist countries, government owned, such as North Korea. and Venezuela, I think. Vietnam is a socialist country. No? Ngayon, although ngayon, ginagaya na nila yung ginawa ng China, socialist, capitalist, or in socialist pa rin sila, government-owned. However, some parts they open some parts of their economy to private ownership, to private companies. But the thing with socialism, no, three distinctive features niya is collective ownership of property, limits rights to private property, especially property used to generate income. Kasi lahat ng resources na meron ng isang bansa ay para sa lahat. Government will be the one to share the blessings. Pinaka-lighter na application. Pursuit of collective goals. So, individuals are expected to work for the common good of all at hindi for the purpose of profit. Nagtatrabaho ka because you want to help others. It's your task, no? Na magtanim para may makain din yung iba. And in terms of competition and consumer choice, wala silang ganun. Okay? Because, wait lang para may concern ako dun. Okay, yan, edit ko na. So, lastly, government control of the economy. The thing with socialism is that government or centrally controlled or command economy operated by the government. Compared to capitalism that it's free for all, laissez-faire, hands off dapat yung gobyerno, dito, government basically controls everything when it comes to an economy. But again, as a social institution, its primary purpose, regardless if it's capitalism, so right, far right, socialism, far left, I think, no? Tama yata. And tweener, capitalist socialist or socialist capitalist, kung anong gusto ng tawag, the function of responsibility of the economy is to develop, utilize, manufacture those finite resources that we have to meet the demands or needs of the people or the citizens of a specific country. So, when it comes to the Philippine economy, yan, no, napakababa na ating GDP growth like most countries dahil nga sa COVID pandemic. And this, para lang magkaka-idea, no? Hindi ko naman papasama to sa exam, but just to give you an idea kung gaano kadami yung nawala natin, no? Nawala in billion pesos when it comes to the impact of the COVID pandemic sa ekonomiya natin. 400 billion when it comes to manufacturing. Best case is 82 billion with what's going on right now, no? Nasa ano tayo? Moderate case nga. So, ganyan. More than 1 trillion of our budget is may ng kikitain ng bansa ay mawawala because of the pandemic. So, the important question right now that we need to answer is, in our current situation, why do you think it is relevant to study about social institutions? Yun yung tanong na lang na iiwan ko sa inyo sa pagtatapos ng ating lesson sa linggong ito. Okay? Sa panahon natin ngayon, bakit kaya importante sa tingin nyo ang pag-aaral ng social institutions? The next week, we'll discuss about politics and government. Hiniwalay ko talaga siya dahil napaka-importante pag-aralan yon. Dahil i-apply natin siya sa mga current scenarios na nangyayari sa atin. So again, my final question for this discussion is, sa tingin nyo, paano matutulong yung pag-aaral ng mga social institutions na ito or sa pag-intindi, no, sa ating kalagayan ngayon?